of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May we have a roll call?
Make sure everyone uses their mics.
Thank you. May we have a roll call?
Dr. King, here. Ms. Westbrooks is here. Ms. Avery-Prease. Dr. Mahobian. And Ms. Fisher. Here.
Thank you. Do you have any communications? Discussion? Ms. Bishop?
Yes, Madam President. I just wanted, for the minutes, to let everyone know there were 4 board members this Saturday morning at Cleveland State University in support of 8 of our East Cleveland City School District students that are going to China. There was also our superintendent present. Ms. Gerardi Eiler was there, and also Ms. Hunsberger, the principal of Shaw High School, was there, and Mr. Jonathan Gordon, I believe his name is, from Case Western Reserve. He does the Provost Scholars Program, and it was a very nice event. We met a lot of people, took pictures, and heard a lot of good things, and I'm sure we all wish them well. Oh yes, and Congresswoman Marcia Pledge was there for the record, and she just acknowledged our school so many times, and our superintendent as well. Thank you.
Any other communications? Hearing none, can we go to our report of committees? Beginning with our finance committee. Ms. Priest,
There are 3 resolutions. And the first one, I think that we put that on hold. The resolution to adopt a temporary appropriation.
Bring your mic, please.
Oh,
Sorry.
can you hear me?
Yes.
The resolution to adopt a temporary appropriation for fiscal year 2015 to 2016. I think we discussed that, we put that on hold.
Yes, and I thought at this time we could ask our financial consultant, Ms. Wilson, to speak to us about that. That's all right.
Thank you.
Mr. Wilson?
Good evening, all.
Good evening. Thank you again for coming.
Absolutely. There are 2 items on the agenda tonight that I can speak to very quickly to give you an understanding of why they're on the agenda and then offer my opinion of the reasonableness of the documents. The first that was introduced was the adoption of temporary appropriations. As you know, the fiscal year begins July 1st and ends June 30th. Both the Ohio Revised Code and the Auditor of State's Office requires that before the treasurer is authorized to expend any funds, be it for payroll or any bills that are due and should be paid, the board has to authorize appropriations, which says that they are giving authority up to the amount of the appropriations for the treasurer to open the books and begin to make financial transactions. There are a few districts, and it's a very few, that have their final appropriations done in time for July 1st. The vast majority of the districts adopt a temporary appropriation, and in fact, the law allows the district to open the books July 1st and operate on a temporary appropriation until September 30th at the latest. Many districts that will adopt their final appropriations, or what some people refer to as the budget, at their September meeting. The document that was prepared and submitted to you is requesting that you approve spending up to 25% of what was appropriated for this year ending, the 2014-2015 year. And again, 25% would represent 3 of the 12 months, getting you through September. That's why many districts will do just as you're being requested to do and authorize that the books be open so payrolls can be processed, bills can be paid, but limits it to not more than 25% of what was actually approved for spending in the previous year. So based on that, this is something that's very typical in most districts. The 25% amount is typical in most districts, and the worksheet that I've reviewed seems to fairly represent 25% of last year's appropriation. So I would encourage you to consider adopting that so that there are no audit issues later on. And we still are required to adopt the final appropriations, which is the true authority, no later than September 30th. The second document that you have for consideration tonight is adoption of the permanent appropriations for 2014-2015. In this document, again, many districts will do this primarily for audit purposes. It's a little bit of a belt and suspenders approach. That when you adopt the final appropriations in September and throughout the course of the year, you may receive a new federal grant, you may get a donation and set up a new fund. You could take actions that are called supplemental appropriations throughout the year to authorize the treasurer to spend money up to the authority that you give her for things that have occurred subsequent to the adoption of the appropriations. At the end of the year, the auditors and the Cuyahoga County Budget Commission both will take a look at the final appropriations approved by the board, compare that to the certificate of resources issued by the Budget Commission, which sets the limit on how much you can spend, and issue something that's called a does not exceed certificate, which is saying that your final authority for spending money did not exceed the certified amount of funds that are available, and the check and balance is the county budget commission on that. So many districts will do just as you're being requested to do, to adopt final appropriations just to reaffirm all the previous actions you took throughout the fiscal year so that there's a simple endpoint for the auditors to audit when they come in and do the annual financial audit. This document also appears reasonable without getting into the actual detailed printouts and doing more of an analysis. I can't say with 100% accuracy that this is okay, but I would say with an 80% confidence level. You'll note that the general fund final appropriations did not change. That's the biggest fund that you have and where the most discretion is. There was a little bit of change primarily in the athletic funds, a decrease, and some of the various grants that you're entitled to. The classroom facilities fund was increased to $187,000. Net change is $46,489 on the total appropriations that are almost $73 million. So not a large change overall. And again, many districts will do this just to reaffirm all the individual actions you took throughout the year. So again, it appears to be reasonable to me. It's my understanding the assistant treasurer helped prepare it. You normally run the detailed accounting reports out of the software system, prepare it, but this is typically what a final document would look like. So in my judgment, I think we would also take that belt and suspenders approach as it relates to the audit of the 2014-15 year. And at this point, with just a day and a half left in the fiscal year, you're not granting any new authority that could be used suddenly in the next 36 hours. So I believe this would also be something you could be comfortable approving.
And the number two,
What's the third?
resolution to adopt the 5-year forecast.
The 5-year forecast that was sent me, dated June 25th, has not changed from the analysis I did a couple weeks ago on June 15th, and I continue to believe that it understates revenue and overstates expenses. So I think the board has a couple options. It's my understanding you're pursuing, with Donna's help, getting some folks in to reconstruct the forecast and to give you the best forecast possible as you plan for the future. In that case, the filing deadline was May 31st. This provisional filing that was done, however that's going to be viewed, has already occurred. There's no new deadline to do it. If the provisional forecast was accepted, then there's no other new deadlines to comply with. If for some reason that would not be accepted as a provisional filing without the board's approval, the date's passed anyhow, and whether you did it tonight or if you did it after they're reconstructed, it's really not going to make much difference. The primary purpose of the forecast is twofold. One, so you know what the future looks like before you approve the appropriations in September, so you kind of know where you're headed into the future. And the second is to restrict any large financial commitments you're going to make that extend beyond 1 year, such as collective bargaining agreements or a multi-year energy conservation program or something of that sort. And there is one on file. It understates revenue, and it's not going to be harmful to you in the short term, recognizing you absolutely need to have a forecast you have confidence in before you adopt your appropriations at the September board meeting. So I would defer to you and to Donna on the wisdom of it, but again, the most recent document, I believe, still does not accurately represent 2014-15, still has some open questions in the tuition category particularly, and doesn't reflect the budget that we believe the governor is going to sign tonight, which is more favorable to the district than what was in the forecast. So, in my judgment, if I were sitting in your seat, I would be inclined to say, let's leave that on the table and take action once we're able to have it reconstructed.
Any questions of Mr. Wilson?
The 5-year forecast overstates the revenue
Yes.
and understates.
I think may understate the expense. As I had mentioned before, the notes to the May update, the provisional filing, indicated that in 2014-2015 there was a 1-year increase in tuition for out-of-district special needs students of $1.4 million, and yet my experience has been, unless those almost always are reoccurring expenses once you have them. So I think there needs to be more of an understanding where those for students that have now either don't have the same special needs, they've moved out of the district, will not be the responsibility of East Cleveland in the future to sort that out. And there were some variances in the salary and benefits area, not quite as significant, but that was the biggest one. And I noted that in the comparison of fiscal year-end activity to the appropriation amount, which was also in the forecast, it had assumed the spending of $4 million to advances to other funds, and the actual amount that seems to be on the books now is $1,374,000. So when I looked at the 3-year history of advances out, and we did that catch-up, over $10 million came back in now for the past couple of years. In the past 3 years, you've never had advances out that small. So again, I think there's some things where we need understanding on the expense side. Are we in a better place where there aren't going to be as many advances? Are we in a better place with this tuition and it truly was a one-time expense? That's why I would be concerned the expenses are understated until there's a greater understanding, particularly of those two areas.
Any other questions?
Are you saying that we can only approve it after reconstruction?
I'm sorry, can you?
Do we approve this with reconstruction, or can we approve it without the reconstruction?
There's nothing to prohibit you approving it tonight or at any time in the future, before or after it's reconstructed. The filing deadline, the statutory deadline for filing was May 31st. That's come and gone. We can't turn the pages back on the calendar. What's most significant is the 5 of you are being asked to approve it, and your action to vote yes or no is based on your level of confidence that it's a reasonable forecast that gives a fair representation of the current and the future. So if you believe you're comfortable that it's a reasonable look at the present and the future, then ultimately that's the judgment you make every single time you approve things. Do you think it fairly represents the present and the future? And it's when you feel you're comfortable to say yes, it does. That's in my judgment when you should approve it.
So, yes.
Yes.
So you're saying that we could, because the deadline has passed and because something has already been submitted, we could table this until we're sure that the numbers are where we want them to be.
Yes, and again, I'll defer to our legal counsel, but I know the statutory deadline's come and gone. There may be a citation in the audit. I don't believe there's a financial penalty for missing the deadline. It's more of a notation that you missed the legal deadline. To do that, there's no provision on what to do that I'm aware of after May 31st has come and gone. So whether you do something June 29th or July 29th or August 29th, I'm not aware that it makes any difference from a legal standpoint. The most important purpose, again, is to guide you into it, knowing where the future is before you pass judgment on the new appropriation measure, and before you make any multiple year large financial commitment, you know where you're going to be in the future. Those are the 2 primary reasons for the forecast.
Any other questions? Thank you so much, Mr. Wilson.
Thank you again for allowing me to
Thank
visit
you.
with you tonight.
Tell your wife to send you home.
Yes.
You promised her you'd be there.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Varies in the supervisors.
Ms. Reese, would you like to go back to your?
Well, based on, law, resolution 1, resolution to adopt a temporary appropriation for fiscal year 2015-2016, based on the information presented. I move that we approve this.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt the resolution to adopt the temporary appropriation for fiscal year 2015-16. Any questions or discussion? Call the roll, please.
Ms. Avery-Prease? Yes. Dr. Mahovia? Dr. Keenan?
Yes.
Ms. Westbrook, yes. And Ms. Fisher?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Number 2, resolution to amend the permanent appropriation. I move that this resolution be approved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt the resolution to amend the permanent appropriations. Questions or discussion? Call the roll, please.
Ms. Priest? Dr. Mahovia? Dr. Keenan?
Yes.
Ms. West, yes. And Ms. Fisher?
Yes.
Motion passes.
3, resolution to adopt the HB 412 5-year forecast based on the information they approved. I move that this resolution be approved.
Is there a second? Resolution dies. For lack of a second.
Madam President, I move that we table this resolution until after we receive our evaluation from consultants.
Is there a second?
I second.
It's been moved and seconded that we table the resolution to adopt the House Bill 412 5-year forecast. Questions or discussion? Call the roll, please.
Dr. Bohoviac,
Aye.
Ms. Fisher,
Yes.
Dr. Keenan,
Yes,
Ms. Westbrook, yes, and Ms. Priest.
yes. Motion passes. Anything else on finance committee? Ms. Priest?
Madam President, that concludes my finance
Thank you.
committee report.
Thank you. You have a report from the superintendent tonight?
No.
Thank you. Our next regular meeting is July the 13th.
July the 13th.
July the 13th, 7 o'clock in Shaw, and our next special meeting is July the 1st, here at 6:30. And we have another one scheduled for July the 6th at 6:30, right in this boardroom. Expressions from the community. Community, do you have anything you'd like to say?
No, I don't have a plan.
Move on. We need a motion on the second part.
Is this for executive session? Madam President, I move that we enter into executive session for the consideration of resignation or termination of public employee, the consideration of employment, appointment, and compensation of public employee, the purpose of consideration of employment, appointment, and compensation of employee.
In the last part.
I think the last part I was clear.
Oh, maybe that's what. That's something. Okay. Seconded by Ms. Priest. Call roll, please.
Ms. Westbrook, Ms. Priest? Yes, yes. Dr. Keenan,
Yes.
Dr. Bohoviac, and Ms. Fisher.
Yes.
Okay, we're now going to executive session.